Are we ready? Let's go.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
How would somebody describe Stanley Parable? Well, that's a good question. In this video, we are going to be talking and reviewing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Now, I'm not going to talk about the game as a whole. I'm only going to talk about what the game gave us as extra stuff, basically. If you have not played the Stanley Parable, I mean, what are you doing with your life? Go play it. It's worth your time. But to describe the Stanley Parable, I would describe it as a giant maze. And the maze has many exits, but none of them are the same. Each one goes in a certain direction and ends in a different direction. And each one you can go to. Each one ends different, and each one is an adventure. An adventure that you'll never forget. So now you're probably wondering why I'm wearing a bucket on my head. It's an inside joke, and you'll understand it as we get to that point of the video. So to start with, we're going to talk about, of course, the new content that this game has to offer. If you've played the original Stanley Parable, you would immediately know that there are, as far as I know, 15 endings to the original game, and now there are 30. Now, what the game does when you find the new content is, of course, the narrator hypes it up, as he should. The other thing is that the exotic Butters guy is back in this game. It's kind of funny.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
You're kidding me.
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Yeah, I know that.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Cool.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
The way most YouTubers reacted to it was they would just chuckle somewhere like, oh, I know who that guy is. I was like, that's Exotic Butters guy. Basically, this game first speaks about how some games can get overly hyped and lose the magic of the original material, which is very true. There are games that have happened over the years that are not like the original game, that feel like a cash grab or whatever, and it does get upsetting. And they made that joke, they made that jab because, you know, people were afraid that that could happen. And it's a very valid fear in this day and age because there are games that come out that are in shambles and aren't ready to be out yet, and they turn out to be absolute disasters. The other thing this game then goes through is to show you the Museum of Memories, which shows you all the good times of all the reviews and how the game started out, and then it shows you that someone wanted a skip button for the narrator. Now, meditating over it and thinking about it and talking about it to my audience, I thought to myself at first that it does make sense, mainly because you can hear the narrator says stuff at the beginning over and over and over and over again. It does get a little tiresome, but the only reason I can give to why there is no skip button is that there are some occasional times when the narrator will say something different, and in that case, that's probably a pretty valid reason to why you don't have a skip button. But maybe they could have one just as an option, I don't know. But what happens with this skip button is very interesting, and what they do with it is something that kind of would haunt you a little bit. So here is what happens.
What the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No, 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 no. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people, and if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of it. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your Greek gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite?
Also, I wanted to cut in real quickly and say hello, my brave, nice princesses and princesses, gather friends. You thought I would forget the intro, didn't you? Well, I didn't. I got you, didn't I? Because most of you haven't subscribed, so if you haven't subscribed yet, do so. Also, if there is one, I only have one complaint for this entire game besides repeating over and over again of all its workers were gone. Look at it being. A lot throughout this game, the narrator would cut, his voice lines would cut before he would finish the dialogue. A lot. I don't know if that's a bug or if the people who, or if the audio department of the creating of this game, they, you know, were in a rush to put all the audio in places because it feels like the audio cuts off, like, you know, you actually heard it back there a little bit. It happens. If you listen, it does happen. Just listen, you'll catch it.
You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will. Ah. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto. 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 Treatise. Well, there's sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated. Something along the lines of, this game is the best game. Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality. How else to describe the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Such a revolutionary step forward in the lineage of one of the most beloved video game properties of all time. The additions and changes made to this expansion will surely resonate in the annals of the history of all media ever made. It is perhaps true to say that no mistakes are forever etched in stone, for the stone into which the Stanley Parable was carved has itself been transmuted, offering a message of hope to those who have ever erred in their judgment. You are not beyond redemption. You may change, and you may become more, so much more than you were before. If there is any message to be taken from the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, it is this. What a fortune, a privilege, a joy it is to have had such an experience. It leaves me hopeful that as a community, as a world, there is time for us to become our greatest selves, as great as we ever could dream of in our wildest, most ambitious visions for a brighter future. Wow, now that's a review. It's perfect. It's the perfect review. It's the review I've always dreamed of receiving. I have to read it again. I have to read it again.
No. We're not reading it again.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at
Door's
any rate,
gone.
I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait. How do we get out of here?
Exactly.
Where did the door go?
I noticed that.
Wasn't there a door that led into this room?
Yeah.
I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall?
No.
I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I swear there was.
There was.
Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any.
I mean,
option
sure.
at all.
I could try.
I'm asking you to work with me here. We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just wait here for me, and don't press the skip button. Got it? Yes, good. I'll be right back.
So now I'm going to give you some of the highlights that happened in this game. One is, instead of you going to Minecraft and Portal, you end up going to Firewatch and Rocket League, which is very, very interesting. So I'll show you that. And then I will show you where we find the bucket and what happens with the bucket, because a lot happens with the bucket, and a lot of the endings involve a bucket, because bucket is love, bucket is life. Bucket. If you don't have a bucket, go get a bucket. Hug your bucket. Love your bucket. Why don't you have a bucket? I have a bucket. I'm superior.
Like it'll work? Let's give it a shot.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Fascinating.
You're kidding
What do you
me.
think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory?
Firewatch.
What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted, erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of
Man, I was
total
expecting
mental
Minecraft, but this is even better.
So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
This is so cool. It's so cool that they did this. They had to pick.
No, it can't be.
What?
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You really wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in
We're
mind.
Rocket League.
Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
It's Rocket League. I recognize this anywhere.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball?
No, it's Rocket League.
Stanley, I think it's sports ball.
It's Rocket.
Oh, what fun.
It's Rocket League.
We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Right. Sure.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more
I love a girl.
await you in the Stanley Parable 2. Stanley picked up the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. Bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was and here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired. Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home, here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home. Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much time as it needed to be in the lounge. Clearly, the bucket and the employee lounge shared a special connection.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense
anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down, it doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it means either. But there is a lot more. So many more endings that I got in this game. But you guys pretty much get the point, I guess. Play this game for yourselves if you haven't yet. It would really, really be worth your while. Especially now that it's gotten what it's gotten. I'm pretty sure there are a lot more endings. I have found only so many. If you guys want to see the full playthrough, I have the VODs, so if you want to see it, let me know and I'll upload the entire thing onto my channel. Probably will edit it quite a bit so you don't have to endure, repetition. Probably we'll add in, all the edits I had put in here, maybe, I don't know yet. But that's up to all of you. So, yeah, there's a lot more to this game than what I showed. There is a perhaps infinite falling pit, there is collectibles, there is a lever that doesn't work, there's a lot of things. You just have to find them. So, that said, I'm going to get this bucket off of my head, and I'll see you all later. Leave a like and subscribe, because there's always room for one more next video. See you.